Ever since the beginning, it's always been the same question. Who is this guy? How does this 100-star Bed Wars player get to play with the GamerBoy80? Why does this guy with 100 subs get to be in GamerBoy80's videos? Why does this Chasm guy get to play with all the big YouTubers in proximity chat Bed Wars? He doesn't even have YouTube rank. The age-old question will finally be answered, today, once and for all. As of right now, I've been in over 25 of GamerBoy80's videos, more than any other person he's ever collabed with, and he's appeared in over half of the 100 plus videos I've uploaded. So how did we get here? How did I go from being one of the most unknown members in the community to someone who is almost always with GamerBoy80? Well, I suppose I can answer that for you today in the most requested, most anticipated, the #1 most wanted video on my channel since the very beginning. This is how I met GamerBoy80. Now before we get into the video, I'd just like to mention if you haven't seen the video I made on how I met Purpled, I'd recommend giving that a watch real quick because in that video there's lots of crucial information you'll need in order to understand some stuff in this video. And on that note, before I get into everything, I just wanted to say a couple things real quick because there were a lot of comments on the How I Met Purpled video saying I'm only friends with him because I donated, and while yes, it is true that we probably wouldn't be friends right now if I hadn't, I feel like I need to point out that we became friends because of a lot more. A nice combination of how much fun we had together, how much team chemistry we had the same sense of humor, a whole bunch of things, not just because I simply gave him money. I just wanted to get that off my chest, but with everything out of the way, let's hop right into the video. Just like the How I Met Purpled video, there's a little bit more backstory I have to tell in order for everything to make sense, so let's go back to the beginning. The very beginning. Bed Wars was first released to Hypixel's prototype lobby on January 19th, 2017, which is over 4 years ago now, but it wasn't until June 29th of that year when Bed Wars was fully released as a standalone game. As expected, thousands of players started grinding for the top spot on the leaderboard, and only 1 month later, on July 26th, a player by the name of Wrecked became the first player to reach 100 stars. However, this was quite short-lived, as only a couple days later he was dethroned by a player who would go on to become one of the most dominant players in Bed Wars history. This was the beginning of the Kleb. Not much was known about Kleb, but many who played with him say he always used to go AFK in the middle of Bed Wars games for coffee breaks, and honestly, if you grinded as hard as he did, you'd probably need a coffee break as well. It wasn't long before Kleb established a sizable lead on the board, and he soon became the first to reach 200 stars. Sometime during his reign, he formed a guild known as the Darkened, which became home to most of the community's top players. However, something that happened not long after Kleb became the first player to reach 300 stars shocked the community. Apparently, as a result of personal info and pictures of him being leaked within the community, the Kleb decided to quit Bed Wars with no warning whatsoever. His friends, teammates, and guildmates all had no idea what had happened to him, and all attempts to contact him were unsuccessful. The community was torn. As days passed, many players got closer and closer to the Kleb on each respective leaderboard, and eventually on November 21st, 2017, almost a month after the Kleb had quit, a player had finally passed him. And of course, as you may have guessed, this player was none other than 80 himself. Now because Kleb left the community, all of the top players in his guild needed to find a new home, and thus GamerBoy80 created the No Life Guild, which immediately became the most stacked Bed Wars guild there was. And I'm sure you're all wondering how this all ties into meeting GamerBoy80, but don't worry, it'll all make sense in just a moment. Let's fast forward to when I met Purpled, and once again, if you haven't seen that video, I would suggest giving it a watch to understand all of the events that led up to here. As I started playing more frequently with Purpled, I'd sometimes get to play with some of the No Life Guild members, which he was an officer in, and because of this, I was invited to the No Life Discord. Naturally, being the fan I was, I joined the Discord right away, and the first thing I saw at the top right of the screen was GamerBoy80 himself. I was like, whoa, I am in the presence of gods. And obviously, I am an admin of this Discord now, and it is unfortunately private as well, but back then, while it was still public, I just had the guest role. Now at this point, I knew that if I wanted any chance of getting noticed by GamerBoy80, I'd have to play it cool rather than freaking out and telling him how much of a fan I was. There were other guests in the server that would tag him to say hi or fanboy over him, but seeing as they all got ignored, I knew I'd have to come up with a different plan. What I ended up doing was anytime I saw him actively talking in the chat, I'd just try and join the conversation, but unfortunately that didn't work too well for me. Or so I thought. A couple weeks later, I noticed 80 having a conversation about Pokemon, and I decided to chime in with a joke, which actually worked. This was the first time he'd ever said my name or even acknowledged my existence, so I was pretty hyped. I guess he must have realized I was alright and accepted my Discord friend request as well. A few days later, I DM'd him for the first time, and I asked him a question I already knew the answer to, because why not? I knew it would guarantee an answer, and it's a good way to start a conversation rather than just saying, hey, I'm a huge fan, what's good? To my surprise, however, he was super easy to talk to, we had some hilarious first conversations, and it wasn't long before we were already talking like we were best friends. A few days later, I saw him in a lobby for the first time, and of course, being me, I took a picture of him. Not even a screening, just a picture. I never could have predicted what would happen next though, because I looked at the chat and saw this. The next day, I joined a call with 80 for the first time because he was straight up just chilling in a no-life call alone. I remember having just finished a hockey practice waiting for my dad to come pick me up, and I joined using my phone data in the arena lobby. Now, you guys will have to try your best to stay with me here because the events that happen over the next week or so happen so fast it's even hard for me to keep up. Everything changed when I got a message from Purple that read, "Kleb is back." You remember the Kleb from earlier? He had returned to the Bed Wars community and was back to his crazy grinding habits. We're talking 3 to 5 Bed Wars stars per day. Because of this, everyone who had left the Darkened when the Kleb quit decided to join back, and No Life went from full capacity to just 55 members in a matter of less than a day. Now, while all of this was going on, I got the absolute craziest message I've ever received. If you thought the lobby chats earlier were unexpected, then you won't even believe this one. GamerBoy80 had asked me to collab. Keep in mind, I didn't even have a YouTube channel back then, and I hadn't even appeared in anyone else's videos yet. I told Purple about it, and he sends me a screenshot in which 80 asked him if I was good enough to join No Life. I didn't meet the requirements at the time, which were 100 star and 10 FKDR, so I was shocked. Between me and you, and 80 will never admit this, but I think the only reason he wanted me to join No Life was because he needed as many people as possible so it didn't completely fall apart, not because he actually wanted me in the guild. Nonetheless, I logged into Mineplex, and the first thing he says is Chasm ugly. Purple was supposed to join us, but he was late, so I was recording my first video with a YouTuber alone. The video turned out very well. It's called Hypixel Players Take on Mineplex Mods. I'll put a link to it in the description because you can genuinely tell how shy and nervous I was in the video. I said like 3 words the entire time. However, something super cool happened in that video, which I'm guessing proved to 80 that I was a good player. Let's roll the clip.
I think he can get the access to those names, but I think I'd have to like pay a decent amount of money to get that. You got him, Chaz, I believe.
I don't know where my sword is.
Wait, you don't have a sword? Oh my god, what a legend.
Yeah, I saw it. Someone dropped a sword. And I was like, who did that? What kind of idiot would do that?
Dude, it's the Chaz.
Found him.
That's right, apparently on Mineplex you could drop your sword and it would actually let you, so when going in for that fight I had no weapon whatsoever. As you saw, I ended up comboing the guy to death with just my fist, and I got a bunch of messages after that saying how legendary it was. Over the next couple days, the No Life officers made some decisions behind the scenes, and while playing in a random capture mode Bed Wars game, I received an invite to the No Life Guild. 80 joked in the guild chat about friending me, and then a few moments later, of course, I got a friend request from the man himself. I honestly didn't realize how easy it would be to play with him, but keep in mind he was still on his insane grind to become the first 1000 star Bed Wars player, so he was almost always playing. He'd look for parties in guild chat, I said me, and it was that easy. We must have had a lot of fun playing because we soon played random games like Build Battle and Murder Mystery, and this was also the first day I'd given a screenie. Over the next couple days we played a lot more together, including playing Unnicked in Bed Wars, as well as a stream he still has public on his channel. Now most people think that from here we just took off and got closer and closer, but that's not actually true. In fact, there was a period where it was the opposite. When it reached summertime, I got super busy with a job and a girlfriend and many other things that didn't leave me with much time to play Minecraft. Because of this, after not talking for 2 or 3 months, 80 actually removed me from his friends list. I was still, however, able to make it to both his 800 and 1000 star prestige parties, and hilariously, I got on his team in both.
I really wanted to hit 800 stars today, so what I did was I had work all day yesterday, and then I kind of just stayed up all night grinding. Alright, so I have big things planned for this stream. So we're...
However, of course, I did make a return to Bed Wars in late August of that year, and that's where everything took off. When I came back, I noticed he had the YouTube rank, and that's when I discovered he was no longer on my friends list, but fortunately, he hit me up with another friend request that same day. I reached a 100 overall win streak with him just a few days later after playing with 2 godly parties, one with Purple and Be a Good Sport, and one with GamerBoy81 and Laser. Soon after, we recorded Sweaty Saturday episode 15 with Purpled. We stayed fairly close for the next couple months, but it wasn't until January of 2019 when we got really close. This is when I got into RuneScape, and everything took off after that. As 80 was burnt out of Bed Wars from grinding harder than anyone else, he spent most of his time in RuneScape, and it just so happened that so did I. We still play RuneScape weekly to this day, and if you know anything about the game, I was just recently with him as he hit multiple 99s in a row. If you don't know what that means, just think of it as hitting max level on multiple skills in Hypixel Skyblock, except the skills in RuneScape take 10 times as long to max. We're talking years. Let's do it.
Alright. Silverhawk boots on, auto-deploy the trap. So once something steps in the trap, that's when we break the teleport tab and go to Lumber.
Alright.
Oh, here we go.
Yo!
Oh, there we go.
Go.
Alright, I broke the tab.
Oh, you got both.
Wait.
You got both.
Yeah, it already gave me the agility one.
Let's go.
So this farming patch over here has a tree in it that should bring me to farming 99.
Let's go.
There we go.
Hey.
I'm gonna quick steal from a vegetable stall to get the thieving 99. All right, I'm gonna quick make a potion
Hey.
that should give me Herblore 99. It did.
Let's
Perfect.
go.
This should give me Slayer 99. Oh god, that was a loud explosion. This should give me Divination 99 right now. And how much experience do I get from catching? Oh, only 10. I need to catch 10 of these things.
No.
I didn't prepare enough. Let's go.
Hey.
99 fishing.
There you go. Now, hopefully you guys were able to understand what was going on there. In RuneScape, when you max a skill, it broadcasts it to the rest of the player base, so thousands upon thousands of players got to see that. He also got 2 99s on his ult at the same time, which is pretty funny as well. Well, I think that's going to do it for the video. Obviously, there's lots of little moments and small details I could get into, but I'm just going to end it here. I'm very proud to call 80 one of my best friends, and if you want to see all the videos we've done together, there's a link in the description to a playlist with all the videos I've been in. As always, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. It was a lot of fun to make, and of course, I'll see you tomorrow.